Rabindranath Tagore's Sanchoita, a collection of his poems. It is full of gems of wisdom. I would like to tell you a story adapted from a poem from this book. I call it The Great Invention, a fable for our time. The story of a great invention. One fine morning, King Habu Roy sent for his chief minister, Gobu Roy. When Gobu came running, King said, "I have been thinking all night. I do not like it. Every time I put my feet on the ground, it gets dirty. Can you do something about it? Can you get rid of all the dust from here so that my feet does not get covered in dust? Take it as a serious order. Find a solution or else." Gobu has never heard a request like that. He felt very worried. He went home. He lost his sleep and appetite. He kept thinking and thinking. He didn't find a solution, but he thought of another way out. So he came back to the king and said, "Sir, you have asked me to find a way to get rid of all the dust from your feet. But there is a problem. If there are no dust on your feet, how can we, your subject, touch your feet to take the dust from your feet and put it on our forehead to show our respect and to feel blessed?" King said, "That is the point. Anyway, we'll cross the bridge when it comes. Now you go and try to find a solution for this." So the minister went back. This time he called many experts and all the great learned people from all over the country. They all came, they looked, they put their glasses on, and they looked in their books and documents and thought about various problem-solving methods and discussed it in length. Hours disappeared. They could not find a solution, but again, they thought of another way of getting out of this problem. They went back to the king and said, "Sire, if we cover the ground, all the ground, to get rid of the dust, then how can we grow anything? How can we put little seeds in the ground and water it and see the little saplings growing into beautiful trees, giving out fragrant flowers and juicy fruits? How can we spread the seeds all over the ground and see the crops growing to feed the people?" King was not a bit amused. He said, "Well, that's a problem for the scientists to solve. Let them worry about how to grow crops without soil. Why do I keep them in my payroll?" So they all had to go back and had to think about some way of getting King's feet clean all the time. So they thought of the usual conventional methods. They ordered 17.5 million brushes and brooms and dusters. And everybody got busy cleaning the place, sweeping the ground. And in no time, the whole atmosphere was polluted with dust. And some of those dust landed on King's face, and he screamed. He said, "Stop it!" And they then realized that that was a mistake. So they all ran to get water to pour over the dust to get it settled. The dust subsided, but there was no water left in the lakes and in the little rivers. Small boats got stuck in the mud. The creatures of the water, like fishes, were gasping for air, and people in the land had to learn to swim to cross the road. And all around it was mucky. The king said, "I asked you to get rid of the dust, and you have turned it into this horrible muck all around me. All of you are useless. Go find a solution quickly, or else no one will be spared." So Minister Gobu called even more experts, and they all sat and thought about the problem. Some suggested maybe we make a room without any gap for any air to go in, any dust to enter the room. King liked the idea, but he said, no, that won't work. I have a suspicion that if I hide myself in a room and my subjects cannot see me at all, then I may not have a kingdom at the end. So that's the point. Then some suggested maybe we get some straw mats and cover the ground with that, and then we can put a nice clean sheet over that, then there will be no dust around King. And some said that may work, but let's do a better thing. Let's cover the whole earth with leather. That seemed like a really good idea. So they sent messengers everywhere to find right quality of leather, and of course very skillful expert who can make things with leather. And they thought it may actually be a really good idea. It may be a legacy of our king that he has put the whole earth in a bag of leather. While all these discussions were going on, the old head of the leather workers clan was listening. He approached the king and said, "My lord, I'm sorry to disturb, I'm really sorry to disturb you, but if I have permission to speak, can I say something?" None of the ministers and experts were happy to see the old man interfering in their discussion. They were going to reject them. When the king said, "Okay, go on, quickly, tell us, what is it that you want?" He said, "I think I may have a solution for your problem. I have got 2 small pieces of leather. Instead of covering the whole earth in this leather, I could perhaps cover your feet with them." King allowed him to do that. So he sat by King's feet and beautifully sewed 2 new shoes for him. Utterly surprised, King said, "Could it be as simple as that? And we have been worrying. We have been pulling our hairs out for all this time." So since that day, people started to wear shoes, and it was invented by this simple old head of the leather crafts clan. Sometimes one can make a mountain out of a molehill. Instead of looking at the problem in a fresh way, in a simple way, we make a very complicated, difficult problem out of something which can be solved in a simple way. Namaskar.